These people observe every behavior of their friends closely and admire the beauty of the sincere picture portrayed. These voyagers of love, each of whom is an intellectual, wonder who is the artist of this beautiful picture, bedecked with tolerance and dialogue, and ask about him.
Personally, I came into contact with the Gulen movement around 7 years ago, and it was by sheer accident. I was in the city of Zamboanga in the Philippines, in Mindanao, in the south. I had been invited by the Catholic University. It's called Atelier de Zamboanga. It's a distinguished Ivy League Catholic university in the south, for 3 days to give a number of talks. And I was told by the administrator of the school that there was a Turkish Muslim school in town, and he took me there. And that's when I came in contact with the Gulen community firsthand. I had heard about them before, but I had never come in contact with them. And I met lots of young teachers, men and women. They were like 25, teaching science and math and all of that.
He and people in the movement following him are very interested in education. And I think that that's another brilliant and very valuable way to spread the Islamic message without being so, as we say in English, in your face about it. You establish schools. Schools for anybody. Education is a good thing. As an educator, of course, I'm very partial. I've spent my whole life as an educator. So to me, that's a brilliant idea that Muslims dedicated to Islam and the Islamic life are doing good work by establishing schools in places where they're needed, giving people an opportunity that they wouldn't have had. That's activism to me, and I very much personally value Gulen's activism.
I think history is going to see Mr. Gulen as being one of the great thinkers and the great humanists of all time. His response after 9/11, as far as I could see, was the most courageous and impassioned response of anybody, East or West, Muslim or non-Muslim. I heard the depth of his cry, which I know was from his sickbed, saying that Islam is a religion of peace, and anybody who doesn't understand that is actually defiling Islam.
I do think that he is a very significant thinker and scholar in the Islamic tradition. There are not many traditional Islamic scholars in Turkey or the Muslim world like him. But above all, I think that his imagining, his own imagining, not imagination, of course there's a connection between imagination and imagining. His imagining is universal, just like the Islamic imagining. And this has been for a long time. The fact that he had inspired the building of schools in Turkey, in Central Asia, in South Asia, in Southeast Asia, and the USA nowadays, testifies to his global reach of mind and understanding. And this, of course, this is one major vehicle of dialogue and mutuality and openness between a Muslim country such as Turkey and the rest of the world.
We can't stay just believing. We have to do things in the world. We have to establish businesses that are done in the Islamic way. That's what we need to do in this world now. And that's why I think the Gulen movement is very powerful and has great potential.
But the other major thing is that he is a man who lives in exile as well. And this is very significant for us. How come that he does not live in his own country?
He has been living away from the places he holds dear most for years. He longs for his homeland. On one hand, he tries hard to resist against the hardships his old age and illness cause him. On the other, he works day and night to light a candle inside people. In the light of this candle, sometimes joys are shared and multiplied, and sometimes hearts join in the face of trouble.
About 2 years ago, Imam Salih Ujul of the Boston Dialog Foundation sent an email out one Monday morning, in which he explained that the CBS show 60 Minutes the night before had a 20-minute feature interviewing the Reverend Jerry Falwell. And he said some things in his interview which were disparaging about Muhammad. Off the cuff, casual, uninformed things. Imam Salih's email said how upset he was, and he said, could any of you please call CBS and protest? So I thought to myself, well, of course, I'd never heard Imam Salih ask me for help that way before, and I thought, absolutely, if he asks me for help, I'm going to help him. So I picked up the phone and I called New York, and I called Don Hewitt, who was the executive producer of CBS, and they put me right on the line, and he said, oh, hello, Reverend Duncan. Is it true that the Unitarian Universalists are supporting the Muslims in Boston? And I said, yes, it is. He said, what can we do for you? And I said, I think you really need to balance that show. It's not fair to put on a show that puts Muslims in America in such bad light. It makes it more dangerous for them. It makes people fear them more. This is not right. You shouldn't do this. You should be more responsible. And so he said, well, yes, I'll send somebody up there right away. Who should I talk with? So I said, well, you need to talk with Maggie Herzig and Imam Salih Ujul. And so they sent up a producer, and she met with them and interviewed them and gathered information, and I was very pleased that they did follow through on that.
Mankind, who was molded with goodness and beauty, is looking for their essence now. Tired of wars, clashes, bloodshed, and persecution, they need a universal dialogue. And a great responsibility lies with bright-faced, nameless heroes who have devoted their lives to love. They hit the roads with a vision of nurturing a place of love in hearts, making people hear a song they have never heard before, and evoking a compassion in them towards our own values. They displayed the true smiling face of Islam and presented it to the world with their own beauty. Those who look at their activities without prejudice and grudge will see that tens of thousands of people from all around the world learned about Turkey and the warmth of the people of Anatolia, and developed a liking for Islam thanks to these devoted souls. Once you get to know these altruistic people, whom I call devotees of today, and analyze the good things they have done, it is impossible not to love and appreciate them. Fethullah Gulen.